good afternoon for most people probably tuning in, I guess, depending on where you are.
Yes.
So I'm Caitlyn Jopp, our VP of Community Engagement at Channel Program. I'm joined here by Matt, who a little bit delayed as usual, I think, slightly.
I don't feel delayed, but maybe I am. I don't know.
Just a tiny bit. Anyways, we're here this morning to talk about our Costa Mesa event, which is, I think, just 12 days away now at this point.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. You know, it's our second M&A GrowthShow. We did the first one in Chicago, had around 50, I guess probably 60 if you count all the different sponsors that were there. And yeah, it was a great showing. And, you know, we're definitely trying to put out something different to the MSP community because we know there's a lot of events that they get to choose from.
Yeah, I also think that M&A is such a hot topic right now. There's a lot going on in our space with businesses being acquired or businesses looking to acquire other MSPs. So having that kind of like agnostic environment to be able to have those discussions, I think has been really excited for those that have registered and attended our first event as well.
Yeah, and so for today, what we're doing a little preview of the event. So, you know, Caitlyn and I will walk you through a bit of the agenda, you know, why you should attend, who from your MSP should attend, the opportunity of learning that you have. And we've got a couple of the guests that are going to be speaking at the event. We're going to have them come on just for, you know, quick minute or two and just give a little preview of what they're going to be discussing because, you know, at the end of the day, this is about a 98% educational event. So we can call it 100% education, I think, at that point.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm just going to switch over here and we'll talk through a little bit of the agenda. Obviously, this event is happening in June 25th in Costa Mesa, beautiful Costa Mesa. Super excited to get back to California in June. So as Matt said, this event is something that we're trying to make different from what you guys have maybe seen with traditional M&A events. We really are aiming to bring together MSP business owners and the executives who are looking to be acquired. So the topics that ranged in Chicago were what to expect and what to ask while you're going through the acquisition process, but also what happens on day two, because I don't think a lot of people talk about what to expect after that transition as well. So those were some really, really well received pieces of content there. And then we also have the one-on-one sessions. So we are matchmaking you with the M&A firms that are looking to acquire MSPs in the area. So if you have questions or looking for advice, looking for advisory services, anything like that, we are facilitating those matchmaking sessions as well. So you can get that one-on-one time and get your questions answered or have those conversations in order to move these discussions forward and hopefully get your business bought by one of these who are attending. Matt, did I miss anything that you want to add?
No, I mean, you know, and I know I'm kind of teeing up. Well, no, go back to the who should attend if you don't mind. But you know, I'm teeing up a couple of the people, you know, that are consultants and advisors in this space. But you know, for such a big thing, like to me, it seems insane to not have an advisor. You know, like you generally don't buy houses without a real estate agent. You want them to do all the hard work behind the scenes to make it as easy as possible. So we're definitely introducing some really beneficial people, I think, in that process. But I think the big one is, you know, who should attend. You know, really, this is the business owners or partners or C-level executives that have a say in the acquisition. But I should say, you do not have to be somebody that's ready to be acquired today. Certainly, if you are, you should 100% attend. But this is also about the next few years. An M&A process can take several years. And so you need to start thinking about what it looks like over the next 3 to 5 years to even set yourself up. And a lot of our talk tracks are around that. But if it's something you're even considering in the next 3 to 5 years, I don't even care if you're 10 years down the line, you should still be joining this type of event just to see how to start building the bricks to that house that you'll be selling in the future. So yeah, that's the type of people that should be attending this event.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So I think moving on to like the next topic, maybe we should bring up one of our speakers who truly helps get people ready for the acquisition process. Mike Harveth from Revenue Rocket is doing a presentation. I'm going to bring him up on stage right now. He's doing a presentation on the questions that you should be asking during your sales discussions, your sales journeys. So I'm going to pass it over to Mike. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about Revenue Rocket and the presentation that you're going to be giving in California?
Thanks, Caitlyn. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we're really excited to be attending. We participated in the Chicago show. I think it was a big hit. In California, a little bit of history here on Revenue Rocket. We're a 24-year-old firm based in focus on M&A, exclusively in the IT services space. And our sales over the last 24 years, over 30 countries. Also do quite a bit of growth strategy advisory. So work with many of your firms. I think many of you, hopefully listening today, we've worked with over the years, and it's been a great journey. The firm was really founded out of my own experience in growing, selling, and ultimately successfully selling 3 IT services companies. And I felt the need to give back. And that's what we've been doing for almost the last 25 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, your presentation was extremely well received in Chicago. We got tons of great feedback on that. So yeah, we're really excited to have you back in California as well. Matt, did you have any thoughts? You actually sat in on the presentation. So what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, as I said, it was one of the highest feedbacks, or in terms of positive feedback that we got. I think there's so many people that don't, to the whole point of the topic is, don't know what questions to ask. They don't know what they don't know. And most people haven't gone through a sale of a business. And it's a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more questions you should be asking. And so having at least that base template of understanding the key questions that you should be asking, I mean, that's like the bare minimum. That's the starting place. So that's why I think so many of them saw the value in that talk track.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Mike. We are really excited.
Yeah, you bet. We're excited to be there. We've got, we're going to cover kind of the top tips and tricks to prepare your business if you're going to exit. Also participating in a panel, and I certainly look forward to meeting each and every one of you that are going to be there in person, and hopefully helping you along on your journey. So thanks for having me today, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. Enjoy your trip. All right, so one down already. I do want to talk about registrations a little bit. So we have had quite an influx of registrations. Space is limited for this event. So for anybody watching this, if you have been on the fence, we'd love to see you secure your spot and join us in a few weeks down at this event. Definitely looking forward to Mike's session, actually. And like he said, he is participating on a panel as well this go around. So I think that will be great. Some other speakers that we have on that panel is Jason from Integris, as well as Chris Traxler from the 20 Group. So really excited to see what they have to say. They will be talking about, if I am correct, they are going to be talking about the investment or acquisition, invest, acquire, or be acquired. So what the reality is around scaling your MSP for that kind of growth and exit, what to expect, and what they're looking for too. Matt, anything else you want to add to that?
Very unique opportunity to have these.
Can you hear us?
Am I caught up now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Oh, there we go. You're back.
I'm here. I'm trying to do I was trying to do too many things.
That's okay. I think we will bring up Charlene next. I'm going to bring her up to the stage. Charlene, welcome. You also joined us at our Chicago event.
Yes.
We're very excited to have you back. You are talking again on the same subject. So do you want to go over what your presentation is going to be on?
Yeah, it was actually well received there in Chicago because people wanted to know what the framework was of a real M&A transaction. You know, a lot of people start their business and say, okay, 20 years from now, I'm going to sell. And I'm like, well, you actually should build your business to be sold or to be acquired or to get funding or increase your EBITDA so that you can do those things as you scale and grow at different stages. And so, Caitlyn, I'm excited to talk about the M&A framework. Provide a worksheet, kind of take step by step in those multiple stages that business owners are at, especially a lot of our MSPs. You guys hear this all the time. 70% of them are business partnerships. And so one person has purple and the other guy has green. And you're like, we have two different opinions on how we should go through an M&A process. And so I just want to take them step by step through that framework so that they can see where they are in the stage so that they know how to ask for help.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a great discussion as well, because talking to some of the MSPs and some of the content we have shifted to for this Costa Mesa event, a lot of the MSPs aren't thinking about that kind of stuff. So it is really driving those conversations and truly having that value add in order to get them prepared.
Yes. And you know, they all think their business is worth, you know, probably 20x than what they think. And so I just want to do a really good check-in during my presentation because a lot of them, what they think and perceive is really not true because your business is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of them are afraid to bridge the gap between being an MSP, MSSP. They're bridging, you know, gaps in their mind where they're like, hey, we want to move from break and fix because we want to, you know, transition into, you know, more services and how do we get projects and remediation. And so hopefully our MSPs in California will take away an action item list versus just feel like we're just vomiting on them. I don't want them to feel that way. I want them to feel like they have some control of really pushing through. You know, Matt, this M&A conversation is hot, but again, they don't know how to start the conversation because they don't know where they are in the process.
Yeah. And, you know, something we've also discovered along the process, and I think MSPs in California face a different challenge than any other state because there's a lot of these higher level M&A roll-up companies that don't want to spend a lot of money in California, actually. So there's a whole nother game that these MSPs are having to play, different than other states. So
even the employees, you know, a lot of people have struggles in California and they're like, we can't hire. We don't want to file tax. We don't even want to do business because there's so much legalities that they're like, I'm an MSP. I don't even know how to deal with that. And so these business owners who initially started their business just to wanting to help end up getting cornered into, you know, these financial obligations and legal obligations that they're like, we weren't signing up for this. And I'm like, well, you're here now. This is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll attest that your conversation was very popular because I don't remember like a minute after you did your thing, like you were talking to MSPs the whole rest of the day. So there was great feedback. And Charlene, you will have to think of a creative way to embarrass me this time because it's not my birthday this time. So
I know I'm going to work with Caitlyn and be like, what did he do? Like, what can we do to get up on there? And you know, that's the thing, Matt. Like, you guys give your heart and soul to all of our MSPs and to our community. And you know, it might be embarrassing for you, but it's a thank you because you know all the work behind the show. Like, I saw Kevin go, I'm like, oh, now you know what a show takes to make this happen. Yeah. And he laughed and looked at me with this tired, like, I'm tired. So I want to embarrass you, but all for the right reasons, Matt. And of course, Caitlyn, you always do such an awesome job. So thank you guys for making the effort.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know you mentioned the worksheet. So just quickly to touch on that, another thing that we did change for Costa Mesa is we are giving all of our MSPs something to walk away with, which will include Charlene's M&A framework worksheet. It will include a checklist from Mike, as well as some additional questions and thought processes to go through, how to find the right investors, what to expect post-sale. So we're really excited to put together that workbook for the MSPs that are attending as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the worksheet because the specific area in my talk is going to focus how to add revenue to their bottom line so that their EBITDA increases. Mm-hmm. And so that, guys, people don't want to buy a business that's not making money. Like, I just want to kind of like give you a hug, you know, give you a lollipop and say it's going to be okay. But if you're not making money to increase your EBITDA, they don't want to buy something that's not making money because they're going to buy something that they can't make money with.
Yeah. Yeah. definitely.
Absolutely. And since he's probably not listening, Kevin really didn't do any work. It was me and Caitlyn did most of the work. So,
I wasn't going to say anything because
on blast now. That's like, I'm doing a LinkedIn blast. It's not a LinkedIn live, Caitlyn. It's a LinkedIn.
Kevin is watching. Kevin is watching. He just commented.
is he? Oh, no way. Is he really?
He
Oh,
just
he
wanted
is.
to
Wow, we're going to get controversial.
literally
social,
just as we threw him under the bus.
I know, right? Kevin's like all tired, and Matt's like, I've been running around this room trying to get these mics and trying to get this guy and the lighting. And Kevin's like, this is a lot of work. I'm like, this is event time, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Awesome. Well,
Well, we'll see
Charlene,
you
thank
soon.
you so much.
Yay. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Bye. She's so lovely. She brings such a good energy. Yeah, so I guess our last, and I'm actually really excited about this presentation. It's got a great title, and I think that it's going to provide a lot of value to the MSPs. So one of our early speaker sponsors that came on was Hornet Security. They are a new partner of Channel Program, and we're going to be joined by Elaine in California. Elaine, let us know a little bit about this session, which when you sent it to me by email, I instantly got excited about. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to be there. The goal is to help people. I mean, to be honest with you, the M&As are happening. It's been happening for a while, but it's happening like crazy now. And as a vendor, for the last 10 years, I think there's not a month that goes by where I don't get an email from somebody I have a bit of a relationship with saying, hey, I'm looking to buy this guy, NDA, don't say anything, but tell me about them, right?
Yeah.
And I love when they say NDA, but I want you to tell me about them. It's lovely. It never goes both ways, right? And it's always the same questions. It's like I just heard about the EBITDA thing, right? There's no way I can know about somebody's EBITDA, but I know if they're, you can tell if they're a money generating business or if they're not just by the way you deal with them, right? Yeah. And that's what our session is going to be about. Are you a money generating business or are you not? And I also love what Charlene, I forget the name. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Charlene said. Everybody thinks their business is like worth this much, and it's not always the case, right? And it doesn't mean you can't love your baby, but it's not always the most beautiful baby in the world to other people's eyes, right? Yeah. So that's what we're going to go through. We're going to go through what does your business look like to an outside view. Like think of being the other person, put the other shoe on for a second, and then look at your business, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the titles, most of it, by the way, you're going to be disappointed. It was all about the title. So
yeah, no, it was a great attention grabbing title. I was really excited to add it to the agenda.
Cool. And I will say, the EBITDA conversation, and we won't get into a full EBITDA conversation, but this is now becoming a big. I've seen a lot of pushback in the community about EBITDA, and I've read some interesting articles from Warren Buffett about EBITDA as well. But that's probably for another day. It's not my expertise personally. So, but we also wanted to. Oh, good.
I'm sorry. You're gonna finish up. I'll say that first.
Okay. Well, the other thing I wanted to make sure we gave you an opportunity, because I know we asked you to shift gears a little bit on the topic for the event, but Hornet Security, we want to at least give you the opportunity to tell the folks a little bit about Hornet Security. Thank you as well.
Great idea. I'll take 2 minutes here. I'll give you the short spin on it. We're a vendor that's been around for a long time. We're somewhat big in Europe, not as much in the US. Our brand may not be as strong in the US and Canada, but we do everything we do in a single pane of glass approach. That's our goal. We're built around the MSP, so we make things simpler for you. We make things easier. And what we do is we're not rocket scientists. Well, we are rocket scientists, but we're not doing anything rocket scientists like. We do email security. We do backup of the Microsoft environment, backup of the VM environment, security awareness training, stuff around SharePoint with Copilot. That's our hottest product right now. It's called the Permission Manager. So for all these things we do for the MSPs. Obviously, the clients get the benefit, but we're not doing it for the clients. We're doing it built around what an MSP needs. So our growth is I'd love to say ridiculous, but it's good. But then it's easy to grow by 40 and 50% when the number is this big. So, but our growth is really, really strong in the US, and we're looking to double and triple in the next 3 years, time after time. So
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no, and honestly, the MSP first approach is going to do you guys so much justice in the space in North America as well. So you guys are definitely doing it right, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, and And yeah, and those familiar with Vade Secure, that was recently acquired by Hornet Security. So, and they have lots of positive reviews on our platform. So definitely, if you're a fan of Vade, you're now a fan of Hornet Security. So
By
and you can check out. Yeah.
And
So
for those who may be wondering, we didn't acquire them to kill them. It's an acquisition and a merger, and it depends who you ask. But we're keeping the product. Their API approach is something some people really, really like. So we're keeping the product alive. We're not killing anything. So it's all good.
Yeah. And for anybody watching, just to that point, Vade actually presented on our Engage event on Friday under their first Engage event under Hornet. So I think we had one of your guys give the pitch. So if you want to see some more information on how Elaine is staying true to that statement, you can go and check it out on last week's Engage videos on the channel program platform as well, because you guys did pretty well. So
cool.
That's
good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Elaine,
Excellent.
Thank you so much. I will see you again in 12 days.
Thank you, guys. Take care. I'll see you then.
Bye.
I like this comment also. What I'm more interested in now is what do you do after you sell? Because it sounds like Larry sold his MSP in January.
Yeah. So Larry, we do have panelists coming in. We do have an MSP specific panel that I'm really excited about. Brent and Dan, who sold their MSPs in California just in the last 5 years. Each of them are going to be talking about what their experience was and I guess what they did after.
And I think it has to do with if you're staying in the business, which those examples are, versus if you're not. And I mean, and I think one of the things we do see quite a few of these MSPs who, well, years later they seem to spin up another MSP, or they become a vendor.
Which we've seen a lot of as well. That is a good and interesting point for future panels as well. Talking to those that have come to the dark side, see how that transition has been for them as well. Tons of products are born out of MSPs. So that is definitely something that could be of interest to those that are looking to sell their businesses as well. But Matt, I kind of want to give you a chance to talk about some of the content that channel program is going to be presenting while we're there. Also, we have a few thought leadership sessions, one given by yourself, one from Alex Corson, our director of services, and then one from our CEO, Kevin Lancaster. So did you want to kind of touch on what you guys are going to go over in those ones?
Oh man, now you're catching me off guard. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Do you mind sharing the agenda so I can also talk through that a little bit?
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. So we're going to have Kevin with the state of technology first.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously, with over 6,000 users in our platform, MSP users in our platform, we're seeing lots of different trends. So Kevin's going to really talk about kind of this, obviously the state of the technology industry, as it says there, but all kind of around the spectrum of, how to grow and drive profitability so that, as you go to the point of acquisition, you're making the most out, making the most revenue and making the most multiple of your business. And then later in the day, I'm going to really focus on kind of the vendor experience and, what are MSPs, adding to their stacks. A common question we hear from people is, what's a cybersecurity stack look like these days? And one of the really interesting statistics, and we'll talk more, of course, in depth, but 28% of an MSP stack now is cybersecurity tools, which is pretty crazy if you just think back like 6 years ago. I feel like, when you were back at Alvik and I was at ID Agent, it's just the amount of tools and categories around cybersecurity is just insane at this point. Just walking through that and, figuring out also ways to maximize the relationships with vendors and, all the resources that are being thrown at MSPs.
Yeah. Your session was greatly well received. last time as well. I think it's a great value add to get get MSPs not only thinking about how to evaluate the solutions they're using in their businesses going into this transition, but also just in general, how that visibility is so needed to avoid stack bloat and overlap and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then Alex is going to do a quick presentation as well on some sales best practices and how to grow that revenue, I think, from the perspective of focusing on sales processes and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it's around like building proper sales pipelines, and, so many MSPs, and, they don't have a proper sales leader. And so how are you keeping your salespeople accountable, things like that? A lot of times it's being driven by an owner, and, it's tough for an owner to be in the weeds on everything. And so, how do you manage a proper pipeline? Because it's easy for salespeople to report back numbers and just kind of, I guess, get by if you're not really engrossed in properly keeping them accountable. So yeah, she really talks about best practices around the sales pipeline and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success moving forward. So yeah, it's going to be great content.
And, for anybody who hasn't seen Alex present before, she comes with some great energy, and she's always such a pleasure to see on stage. So definitely a session that we're looking forward to her giving in California as well.
Yeah. So I think that kind of covers. Obviously we didn't go through every topic, but just as everybody can kind of see from the agenda, it is just chock full of education. So
yeah. And these events wouldn't be possible without our vendors either, like Revenue Rocket, Fornix, Hornet Security, who you saw today, but we're also joined by 13 other vendors. And we have allotted enough time for you guys to meet with them as well, while still balancing the whole day being 100% education, basically. So I'm really excited to be able to offer an event that provides not only our vendors value by getting to meet with some of you guys, but also the MSPs the value by keeping the content really streamlined and really tight. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, those other participating vendors, they'll get a 30-second pitch. So it's not one of those. It's not one of these events where every 15 minutes you're hearing from another vendor. It's nothing like that. And in fact, outside of our panel, I don't think there's a presentation that's longer than 25-ish minutes. And that's then that's something we got great feedback, by the way, on.
And it's actually
it's
just the one panel now, because we did reduce the second MSP panel down to about 25 minutes, and there will be a time for Q&A on both of those panels. So we do encourage anybody that's registered to come with questions and drive that engagement as well. So yeah, content's short and sweet, but we're going to get through a lot of it. It is a jam-packed day, but I would be hard pressed to see any MSP walk away from this event without immense value. So
absolutely. So if you haven't registered, please do. It is free to an MSP to register. Looks like Caitlyn reposted the link in the chat, and yeah, we would love to see you at Costa Mesa, June 25th.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Matt.
Yeah, it was fun.
Plug this. Yeah, thanks for everybody in the audience. We hope to see you guys in a few weeks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.